the two of you. How has your campaign been financed to date? Who are your largest contributors? Mr. Moffett?
Let's see here. Total? Or what, just half?
Out of curiosity, it's a small office, you probably don't get the big contributions you may get from Congress or something like that.
I've had close to 200 contributors on my campaign, which is pretty substantial for a race like this. It's quite a bit. And I think my largest contributor was former mayor of Flower Mound, and she's rich, and she was just wanted to give me the money. I mean, she's a really nice lady. I mean, if y'all meet her, you know. Hey, I tell you what, any of y'all other candidates want to go hit her up, you know, she's a real nice lady. No, I don't owe anybody any favors or anything like that. Nobody's given me any money saying, you know, I want you to do this when you get in there or anything like that. I don't have that issue.
Okay, Ms. Fred?
And your question is, how much have we raised?
How much have you raised to date this campaign, and who are your largest contributors? Mr. Moffett said he has one, the former mayor of Flower.
Okay, all right. So far, I've raised roughly about $10,000. The balance of that, or the balance of the rest of my campaign, has come from my own funds that I've saved for a couple of years to be able to run this campaign. I do believe very much in conservatism, in spending not only my money wisely, but your money wisely as well. And I do have one contributor who was substantial, a gentleman out of the Sanger area, and he gave me about $5,000, which was wonderful and very, very helpful. But most everybody else, I've gotten $100 here, $50 there. I know that my friend, actually, Mary Horn has given me some money as well, just because she has been very supportive of this campaign as well as a friend. Again, I also do not owe anybody anything. I'm not going to be performing any favors or doing anything else outside of, thank you.
Mr. Moffett.
Ma'am.
Is there ever a reason to adjust penalties and interest on taxes, and who would make that decision?
Yes, the tax code is very clear about that. Penalties and interest can be waived if there are errors involved in the process there. The tax assessor does have some discretion in that. However, ultimately it's the authority of the taxing units to finally remove those deals. I think the issue here is that when the tax office makes mistakes, we want to make sure that we're not penalizing the property owners. In the past 2 years, under my opponent's direction, they've actually sent out thousands of half-price tax bills and subsequently penalized property owners thousands of dollars. In one particular case, a gentleman paid almost $10,000 in penalty and interest and attorney's fees on a property that received an erroneous bill. And I think that what we need to do is we need to make sure that we're not penalizing people for our mistakes.
Okay, the tax code 33.011 of the property tax code does give the specifications of when and how a property or a penalty and interest is waived. It does depend upon whether or not there is an error either in the part of the tax assessor's office or the appraisal district's office that contributed or caused the taxpayer to not know there was taxes due. The tax code is extremely clear, and the way that it works basically is that there is some discretion on the tax assessor typically for clerical errors, but over and above, the taxing entities are actually responsible for waiving that penalty and interest, and we have a process in-house that we manage facilitating that process. Any tax statements that are sent out, whether it be original tax statements or supplemental tax statements, for whatever reason, if there is, let's say we've got a tax bill that is sent out that is an increase in levy, that person does have, oh, darn it. Okay, thank you.
You folks have both stated your qualifications for office, education, stretch all your years in the job, 29 years there working already in the department. How do you see that experience and background coming to the future of Denton County, given the expansion of people moving into it, all the new subdivisions, Are we going to have more software, more computers? Is there a way to make that system work faster and smarter? The office says you just want to have taxpayers standing in line. Could you respond to that, please?
Certainly. It is a challenge, most definitely. We do have a very small staff by comparison of the size of county that we serve. The county commissioners are responsible for granting additional staff members. We've had a tough few years, and so budgetarily we have been very cautious, both with new hires. In fact, we've not had any new hires at all. So as a result, what we have to do is we have to be able to organize and reorganize our department in order to be able to assist our taxpayers. We do have great new software in place that is very beneficial to help in our property tax department. In motor vehicle, there is a challenge there because we do not have autonomy or authority over that software. That is handled by the Department of Motor Vehicles, managed and hosted by. The majority of our customers who come into the office are motor vehicle customers. So we've got to find a way to be able to be proactive in how we assist our taxpayers to do their job, perform their functions.
I think how this comes into play here is that with the education and the experience, having both of those, it gives you the ability to be able to think outside the box. You're not going to do the same thing over and over and over again. And as this county changes, we're going to have to think outside the box on how we deliver services to our citizens in a more efficient manner. And we don't want to keep repeating the same mistakes over and over again because ultimately that costs taxpayer money. The software issue, my opponent was on a committee that actually chose the software. The issue that they had was conversion of data from one software package to another. They were offered a solution to do that. They declined it. The issue there was the conversion of the data. They chose another program that still has the same problem that the old one did, and we spent $600,000 to do it. Ultimately, what we need to do is we need to make sure that we have the ability to tackle these challenges and not provide excuses for why we didn't get them done.
Ms. French, I'll give you a moment to respond, and you're shaking your head.
Oh, did you see that? I'm sorry. The software that we have now, it is excellent software. I was on a committee to help determine or to select a software company to replace the one that we'd had for over 20 years. There were several different softwares that we were able to view and review. The software package that was chosen is one that is being used in several counties that are larger than us, and it has just done a fantastic job. As with any software conversion, especially the size that we had, there are challenges to any software conversion. I think if anyone's been through a software conversion, things don't go perfectly. But I will say that the support that we received from the software company was phenomenal. And we had a lot of issues to work through because of the previous software being much older, it had its issues. Let me just say that it had its issues. Thank you.
Mr. Moffitt.
Do I get an opportunity to just play fair? Is that allowable under the rules? I'd like a short little response to that, if we will. Is that allowable? Is that okay?
Sure, if you want to go ahead and do that.
Okay.
You brought up the issue that sort of challenged the fact that she was
Sure.
on the committee.
I appreciate that.
So that's why I gave her a chance to
All right,
respond.
thank you. I appreciate it.
You would respond to the response.
Yeah, thank you. The fact is that once the software was implemented, the problem got worse, not better. And we spent $600,000 to make the problem worse. And, they were offered a solution that would have solved the very issue that they have, and they chose not to take it. And I think that's a problem with leadership. I think that's a problem with not being able to think outside the box. And so Dallas County works with a lot of issues. They're the second largest county in the state of Texas. They got their tax bills out on time past couple of years. Denton County is almost a month late. We collect nearly $500 million in property taxes each year. And the interest on that over a month's period of time, you're a month late, that's a lot of money. And the citizens ultimately have to pick up the cost on that.
So out of curiosity, is that more county commissioners' decision to change the software and make that decision? Or is that the department department, and all the people inside the department, is it the existing department head that made the decision?
Who's it?
To me, okay. The committee that determines, basically the committee who went through the RFP, there were a number of software solutions that were demoed to us. And the committee is not just the tax office. The committee encompassed the purchasing department, someone from the technology services department. It wasn't just only the tax office who was on this committee. So several people from around the county were able to view the different solutions that were provided to us, and the software company that we use now is what was recommended by the committee itself. Then that recommendation goes to the Commissioners Court. They make the decision, and they made the decision to go with the recommendation of the committee itself.
Thank you. Brad?
That process was an open bid process, technically. And the way that happened was the tax assessor's office came to Commissioner's Court and said, we need $600,000 for a piece of software. It was an open bid process. Open bid, that means multiple people bidding and you take the best bidder. The ultimate price tag was $600,000. Was that an open bid? I don't think it was. It was pre-selected, and they had an opportunity to correct the problem. The problem's gotten worse, and I think that's a leadership issue. Thank you.
Okay, let's move on to the next question. What do you plan to do in the tax assessor's office that will provide us better service?
Which one would you like
Mr.
first?
Moffitt, please.
I think that the key here is to utilize technology to make things more efficient. If we can move a lot of the transactions, the routine transactions online, to where the citizens can be able to do them there, that will free up our resources within the office to be able to provide better customer service within the office. I think that's really the key there. Additionally, what we need to do is continue to perform an outreach process, and that involves going out to real estate professionals and other property owners, groups, things like that, to be able to reach out to them, and also the dealerships that we have, the motor vehicle dealerships here in the county, to be able to work with them and develop the process to where it's more efficient. And I think ultimately that will provide better customer service for our citizens.
Okay. Absolutely, customer service is the key. The tax assessor, while the tax assessor's role is definitely constitutionally controlled, regulated by numerous laws and codes and an enormous amount of regulation, the way in which we perform that customer service, the way in which we perform those functions that we are charged with is definitely something that is near and dear to my heart. Some of the things that we will be doing, in addition to reaching out to the community to be proactive and helping to explain what has to be done, by whom, when, and how, we have got to work on reorganizing our structure within the office, and that's something we're doing right now. We'll be opening up a help desk soon to be able to funnel people through to pre-check their work before they ever get into line. If they do need to come into the office, we do offer services online. Both registration and property taxes can be done online now.
All right, thank you very much. And next we'll have our 1.5 minutes, and I think Mark.
Sure. I'll stay seated. Sorry.